You know, usually when a child is mixed and they're raised by the mother and the mother is black, that child will immerse themselves in black culture. That child will acknowledge their blackness. That child will be raised in blackness. What the fuck happened to Amber Rose? What the fuck happened to Amber? And we need your mama to come forward because, baby, Jocelyn was right. Jocelyn was right because you do want to be a cream puff. You really want to be a box of bleach. And baby, I have to admit it. If you walk into a room, everybody's going to think that's who you are in the general. So you might as well lean into it. This woman literally went from doing walks in the name of women's rights and trying to protect women and saying, women, you can dress the way you want. You can be who you want. No man should have any rights over you and your body. To canoodling with a man who is a known SAer, who is for taking women's rights away from them, who is for making 6-week bans to abort rights. And she literally stands there and says, Biden is not for black people, which we already know that shit. Baby, we know that. But for you to say Trump is, talking about do your studying, the man is a Republican. Every Republican in this goddamn country is trying to erase women's rights and African-American rights. And you are lost. You don't know what you are. So we're going to put you in a category. Amber Rose, you are a cream puff. You are 5-day-old molded ass yogurt.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about Amber Rose. As you guys can see at the beginning of this video, the super pro-blacks are not happy with Amber Rose because Amber Rose came out and basically endorsed Trump. Okay, she says, hey, I'm voting for Trump because of women's rights. Okay, and again, this is shocking, and this is why, you know, a story like this is important, not because Amber Rose is somebody that I feel is a credible person to listen to when it comes to politics, but in certain situations where you have a woman who's built a platform as a hip-hop model, but also as an ultra-feminist, okay, somebody that has essentially led a movement to promote promiscuity for women, okay, and all types of degeneracy. She coming out here and endorsing Trump is kind of a big deal, okay, because again, logically speaking, you would think that somebody who calls himself a feminist and they care about women, if their whole thing is women's rights, I'm not sure exactly how you can support the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is anti-women's rights, okay? This is just a fact, okay? They are quite literally allowing biological men to take over women's spaces, whether that be in sports, the locker room, you know, talent shows, pageants, whatever, right? We're seeing it happen all over the place, and Democrats are supporting this, okay? And Amber Rose is saying, hey, you know what? I can't get behind a party that is not for women, right? That's against women's rights. Now, she also has educated herself on certain issues like Trump's position on abortion, right? And she actually really understands that, hey, this is a state's issue. The state that she lives in, California, is very pro-abortion. So it's not really an issue in the state that she lives in. And again, she's educated herself to a point where she's like, okay, I don't believe the brainwashing and the fear-mongering from the liberal media anymore, right? I am thinking for myself, and I'm making my own decision, and I believe that Trump is the best candidate to vote for. And she's going to be asked about this by this reporter from TMZ. And it's going to be pretty funny to see Amber Rose continue to stand on her principles of supporting Trump because of women's issues. So without further ado, let's get into it.
A lot of people were shocked with your, you know, endorsement of Donald Trump. I mean, you're all about women's rights issues. I mean, what was the reason for the big change?
Is Donald Trump not for women's rights issues?
I mean, I guess a lot of people were asking. He's
trying to make America great again. That's for women too, right?
That's true. I mean,
okay. Well, there you go.
I know. Does him getting convicted like change the way you view him?
Not at all.
I mean, do you think it'll help his chances like getting like reelected or like it'll hurt him?
I think it helps him more. I think
it helps him more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people see the injustice and what happened, and they want to vote for him more than ever.
I know. I wanted to ask you. So it seems like a lot of celebrities are kind of like voting for Trump now. I mean, why do you? A lot of people were shocked with your, you know, endorsement of Donald Trump. I mean, you're all about women's rights issues. I mean, what was the reason for the big change?
Is Donald Trump not for women's rights issues?
I mean, I guess a lot of people were asking.
He's trying to make America great again. That's for women too, right?
That's true. I mean,
okay. Well, there you go.
I know. Does him getting convicted like change the way you
Nope.
view him?
Not at all.
I mean, do you
Still
think
voting
it'll
for
help
Donald
his
Trump.
chances like getting like reelected, or like it'll hurt
I think it
him?
helps him more. I
Oh,
think
it helps him more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people see the injustice and what happened, and they want to vote for him more than ever.
I know. I wanted to ask you. So it seems like a lot of celebrities are kind of like voting for Trump now. I mean, why do you think people are kind of like changing their way of like?
I think
kinda
we just did our research, and we're just, you know, we're not brainwashed anymore by the left. I can say that about myself. All these years I've been brainwashed, and I'm not anymore. So.
Wow. All these years I've been brainwashed and I'm not anymore. Again, you love to see it. Now, I got to be clear. I don't endorse Amber Rose and all the things that she puts out there, right? I really don't. And normally I wouldn't be talking about something like this, but to me, like, it's just fascinating to see in 2024, somebody who's on the far left who calls himself a feminist can see that the Democrat Party is so bad that she's like, you know what, I'm going to support Trump, right? I'm for making America great again, and that Trump is pro-women's rights. I mean, again, this idea that the Republicans are against blacks, are against gays, are against women is ridiculous, right? It really is ridiculous. What Democrats actually really mean when they say that is that, well, Republicans aren't for the extremes, right? Just allowing so-called minorities to do whatever they want. Like, for example, when it comes to abortion, conservatives / Republicans, yeah, we don't believe in allowing abortion on demand, right? We don't want abortions in the third trimester or in some cases after birth, which is what Democrats want, okay? They just want to allow everything. And we say, no, we want to protect life, okay? We're taking a moral stance on that issue that, no, you shouldn't just be having abortion as a main form of birth control. That doesn't mean that conservatives or Republicans hate women. It simply just means that we want to protect life, right? There's a difference. Okay, just because conservatives don't want to have kids undergo sex change operations or biological men compete against biological women in sports, that doesn't mean that we hate trans people, okay, or that we're against trans rights, okay, because nobody has banned trans people, okay? No Republican has pushed any legislation to say, hey, you know what, you can't be trans at all. Nobody's done that, okay? You can be trans if you want, but that doesn't mean that you can push it on the rest of society or make society as a whole capitulate to your worldviews, right? That doesn't mean that you can come out here and to push for children to be allowed to have sex change operations and for biological men to compete against biological women in sports, right? Doesn't mean that we are transphobic, okay, or we hate trans people just because we don't support that, right? We just don't support these extreme agendas, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't live your life and choose to be who you want to be, right? But you don't have the right to push that on the rest of society, okay? That's the whole point, right? That's the point. Just because Republicans / conservatives want to be tough on real crime, okay? We don't want to be out here persecuting people politically like Democrats are. We actually want to be tough on real crime. Doesn't mean that Republicans / conservatives hate black people, right? Again, that's the way that a lot of these things are interpreted. And I'm glad that Amber Rose here is not brainwashed anymore, right? She admitted that, hey, I was brainwashed. The left brainwashed me when it came to a lot of things, and now I'm waking up. Now, I hope that this actually applies to her life, right? She seems pretty covered up here, okay? And I really hope that she stops pushing degeneracy on women, right? I'm just saying, like, if you're going to make this transformation, I'm hoping that she goes further than just voting for Trump, but I can't complain about her saying, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm not brainwashed anymore. Hey, I can only be happy with that considering how, again, she is a far left feminist, so it seems. But regardless, again, I respect the fact that she has the cojones to come out here and say she's voting for Trump, despite the fact it could ruin her career because people like Leonard McKelvey, a.k.a. Charlemagne, and Stephen A., not only do they lack the cojones to come out here and say they're voting for Trump, they actually have to make it clear, no, I'm going to vote for Biden. Even though I know Biden bad, right, I'm still going to vote for him because Trump might start a civil war, right? Some nonsense like that. Clear brainwashing from the liberal media. They're trying to protect their platforms or whatever. So again, I have to respect Amber Rose for at least coming out here and standing on her principles and saying, hey, I'm voting for Trump because, you know, Trump is pro-women's rights. And that is not a false statement, right? That is a true statement, okay? Just because Republicans / conservatives aren't for extremes doesn't mean that we're not for people having their basic rights, okay? So with that being said, I personally hope that Amber Rose doesn't back down. I hope that she stands on her principles, right, in regards to voting for Trump. And I also hope that she spreads the word to her friends, right? Spread the word to all of your friends, okay? All the Instagram influencers, the models or whatever. Vote for Trump, okay? If you want to save women's rights, vote for Trump. Yeah, they're going to say that you ain't black, okay? They're going to disinvite you from the cookout, but it's okay, Amber. It doesn't matter, right? You don't want to be invited to the cookout, okay? You don't want to get shot, okay? So I'm just saying that, you know, hey, despite the backlash, you should stand on your principles and to support Trump. And I'm glad that, again, she's coming out here and saying that she's not brainwashed anymore. And, you know, hey, I think that, you know, it signals a very powerful movement when you have some of the most unlikeliest characters coming out here and supporting Trump and waking up and realizing how disastrous this country has become under Democrats and their progressive policy. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.